For more, let's go to Beirut and correspondent Leila Molana-Allen. Leila, how tense was it earlier?
It was extremely tense. This was the first day that we've seen widespread clashes across downtown Beirut like this. It started up on the arterial ring road with a large group of Hezbollah and Amal supporters coming in and taking up batons and starting to strike protesters. They then came down to this area just behind me in downtown Beirut, which has been largely peaceful until now. They broke down the tents, they set fire to things, and a huge amount of army and riot police had to come in eventually to be able to push them back and disperse tear gas.
And so here we are, Leila. It's been nearly 2 weeks. They have, I guess you could say, if President Aoun accepts this resignation, the biggest scalp for those demonstrators so far, the resignation of the Prime Minister. What are demonstrators saying? What's the reaction?
Well, I have one of them here who could tell you himself. This is Mario Haddad. He's 26. He's from Beirut, and he's been out every day for the last 2 weeks protesting in the streets. So, Mario, tell me, how are you feeling after the resignation of Prime Minister Hariri?
I'm gonna say we're sure happy, but most importantly, we have a sense of accomplishment. The people have finally seen that we do have a voice, we can affect the decisions, and we are the ones who are going to be deciding from now on. So this is it. I think the picture here shows the sense that we feel right now. We're very proud and happy.
And a lot of people saying to me they do feel victorious, and people were out on the streets immediately after the resignation again, after those attacks this morning from sectarian supporters. But some people also saying they're afraid now that there could be more of that violence, and even more so if the government does fall. Are you and your friends afraid about more violence?
Look, there are 2 points of view. Personally, I would say we shouldn't be worried, we shouldn't be scared, we should be decisive, we should stay here. First step was the resignation. Second step is going to be the formation of the new government. We shouldn't let them take as much time as they need. We are the ones who are here. We speak, we push, we pressure. They need to act accordingly. First was the resignation, then they should form the new government, which should be a 12 to 15 person, all technicians, and then life moves on. We organize fresh elections, early elections that are following a good electoral law. Then we vote for our new ministers and deputies, and then the economic and the democratic and the healthy political life cycle will move on and will pick up from there. So that's it.
And once these protests are over, if that new government is achieved, what do you hope that government can change in the country? Why are you here?
It's not just that government. I hope that this government, the one that should be assigned right now, is going to pick up the lead and the way for the rest of the, as I said, the political life. So now we want them to organize first, as I said, the electoral laws, and then they need to monitor the economy, the banking sectors, everything that we need urgently now that needs to be decided on spot, because we have lots of issues in Lebanon that are on the tipping point. At any moment, if you push them, everything could explode. So we need them to be smart, to be efficient and pragmatic, most importantly.
Thank you, Mario.
No, thank you.
There you have it. So hopeful, excited. Tonight is a night for victory and celebrating, even though we are still actually waiting to hear whether President Aoun does accept Prime Minister Saad Hariri's resignation. He has not come through on that yet. But for now, everybody's celebrating here, and tomorrow they will move ahead pushing for this new government that they want.
Leila Molana, we're hearing reactions from the international community, France most notably, expressing concern over the developments that we've seen the past hours, in particular after this resignation of Prime Minister Hariri.
Great concern. So the problem is that here, Prime Minister Saad Hariri is not very popular. Many people feel that the only reason he is in power is because his father, Rafik Hariri, who was celebrated as the man really who brought together the country again after the civil war and was then assassinated. They feel that Saad Hariri is only here because of his father, and he doesn't really have any skills of his own. And they really feel that he faces too much towards the rest of the world, towards Europe, towards North America, towards Saudi Arabia, Arabia in particular. But of course, this is what foreign leaders like about him. They feel he is a safe pair of hands. They understand where he's coming from. So they feel comfortable with him having charge of the government. Now, the election that happened last year was the first election in nearly a decade. So people were really hoping in the international community that this would be a change for Lebanon. It would move forward with a more functional democracy. And the other issue is that international investors really do prop up this country. There is a dollar peg here that has started to slip. And there were many fears yesterday after the central bank governor said that the country could be facing economic collapse within days. That is scaring international investors because their money is here and people are worried they might pull that money out. And one of the main investors, of course, is Saudi Arabia. And they may, people suspect, have put pressure on Saad al-Hariri to resign because Hezbollah has power in this government. And so they actually want this government to fall. But also they are increasingly not willing to put so much money into the country. So with Saad al-Hariri gone, as I say, that main focal point for people's trust in financial investment and political investment in this country is wavering.
Leila Molana-Allen reporting live from Beirut. Many thanks for